With Pluto re-entering Aquarius, it presents you two options. The first, you can let go of the old way of doing things, the past, the status quo. Or the second, you can be dragged into the future that is there waiting for you, whether you like it or not. Hi, my name is Haley Comet, and welcome to Just Your Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday edition for January 15th to January 21st, 2024's astrology, where we are breaking down, just as we do every single week, with every single week of astrology, gathered here in my cosmic corner with the cosmic beverage in hand, discussing what is ahead for your week ahead, how you will feel the astrological transits, ingresses, and stations, and furthermore, how you can co-create with these celestial influences in order to live with more alignment. That's why we call it Magic Monday, because when you take advantage of the cosmic opportunities as they are presented, when you take the lessons that the universe is doling out in stride, understanding the bigger picture, you turn your life into something magic. And when it comes to living in alignment with this week's astrology, it is important to surrender into what is unfolding for you. With Pluto re-entering Aquarius, the sign of the future, it is a reminder that life just moves in one direction forward. Mercury finally clearing its shadow echoes that point. We have most of the planets direct. We have Pluto re-entering Aquarius, which is a big deal. There is a lot baked into this astrology that is asking you to move forward. But there's also this semblance of fear around clinging to what was, scared about what will be. This week is liminal space. We're being asked to surrender and trust into the future without having a clear picture of what that will be. It's a trust fall, it's a surrender, and it's scary. When it comes to Pluto influence, it is scary. But again, you can cling to what was, even if in certain ways it was not serving you because it feels familiar. But that is not the recipe to living your most actualized, most empowered life. And Pluto re-entering Aquarius, it is transitioning us into living our most empowered, actualized life by favoring the new, by favoring innovation, by being brave enough to release what is not serving, by being bold enough to destroy old iterations of yourself and what it is that you've built, trusting in what it is that you are feeling around the new chapter that your life is taking. And when it comes to this week's astrology, it does have a bit of a Tower card energy baked in if you're familiar with tarot. If you're not familiar with tarot, here is the Tower card. You know, there's people leaping from a building that's burning. There's a lightning bolt. It doesn't look like the most pleasant scene. Don't worry. I'm not saying you're going to get struck by lightning. I'm not saying that there's going to be literal destruction, but you can feel like something in your life is crumbling. You can feel like there is a tower within your universe that's crumbling. It could be a business that you have built. It could have been a relationship that you've built. It could have been a version of yourself that you've built. And there will be a temptation to just take some duct tape to the burning building and just give it a little duct tape here and try to restack the brick here even when it is burning. Or you could just take this opportunity to say, hey, this is not serving me. I cannot repair this tower that is literally crumbling, that is literally on fire. And it's scary to do that. It's scary to trust that there's a reason why this occurred. There's a reason why I'm feeling so not in alignment with this particular tower. There is a reason why I feel the strong call to upheave my entire life. And sometimes when it comes to this energy of transformation, you can look at the tower and be like, yeah, it was not serving me. The location wasn't right. You know, this relationship wasn't right in terms of where we both wanted to ascend to. This business hasn't been working for a couple of years now. Sometimes you have that clarity around that's why the universe is destroying this particular tower within my universe so that I can find something that does align. But sometimes it comes through where it's like, I like this tower. I like this tower. I don't understand why it's crumbling right now, but I am feeling pulled to lean into transformation. Or for some of you, you can feel like the universe is closing a door for you, that you have outgrown your current tower, your current sense of self, your current relationship, your current career. Something big is brewing, my love. And I'm not saying every single human is going to have these huge life decisions where they're releasing relationships and starting businesses and making all of these shifts, but it's making it quite apparent that that is the direction that you are moving in, that that's where your actualization and your transformation is awaiting you. And you know, sometimes the universe whispers like, you gotta get out of this tower. This is not serving you. We've got something better up ahead. It whispers and whispers until it screams, where it's like, you didn't listen, so now the tower is crumbling. Right now we are literally closing the door so that you know that your greatest new beginning, your most actualized new start, your most aligned foundation for you to build the tower of your dreams is in the future. And that's scary. Because even if the tower didn't serve you, it's comfortable. You know where that tower is. You know the staircases that you've built in it. You're comfortable in that tower. But the universe is making it so clear within this week's astrology that it's time for you to commit to your own evolution. It's time for you to face your fears. It's time for you to release comfortable or the status quo or what's expected of you and from you in order to surrender into the new versions of yourself that you will meet as you surrender into your future, which could be even more beautiful than you had imagined. It feels important to mention to you that Pluto is the destroyer and the creator. It's not that the universe didn't allow this to work out to be mean. It just knows that something better is there waiting. That crumbling down this tower is going to give you a better foundation to build something that truly is in alignment, not just with who it is that you are now, but also with your higher self. And I deliver this horoscope to you with so much love in my heart. I hope you can feel that. I am not fear-mongering. I'm not trying to incite or inspire fear. The energy of Sun conjoining Pluto over the weekend is a reminder that we have to push through our fears of transformation. Everything that you desire that is not here within your physical reality comes on the other side of change. So we are being asked to release what was and step into what will be. It won't be so dramatic for everyone with lightning bolts and flames, but there will be a call to embody your power, to shed your fear, to step into your future that is there waiting for you, that the universe is currently aligning circumstances and people and timelines in order to make a reality for you. But it's important to remember, when the tower is on fire, when the door slams shut, when you realize that you can no longer keep doing things in the ways that you've been doing things, you have to let go. You have to trust that there is a better future there waiting for you. So my love, we have a lot to discuss because there are some beautiful energies aligning for you this week. From Mercury sextile Saturn, Mercury trine Jupiter, Sun sextile Neptune. There is a lot aligning within this astrology around being able to move forward stronger, more resilient, more empowered, more dedicated to your vision of success. I don't want you to feel like the entire week is going to be lightning bolts and flames. There's a lot of beauty aligning for you. But it's important, if there is a decision, a crossroads that you face this week around choosing who it is that you are evolving to be versus who it is that you've been within the past, the astrology is nudging you to choose evolution, choose who it is that you could be, choose who it is that you're evolving to be. So we have a lot to discuss, which means we're going to need some caffeine in order to power up our discussions. So take a step inside my cosmic cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on to start your week. I poured a cup of coffee with a splash of sweet and creamy almond creamer. I want to say it was Silk or something was the brand. I'll put a picture of it right here. I'm starting the week sweet. And I just want to make a quick announcement to anybody who was a part of my membership here on YouTube, particularly in the Galaxies tier. I want to let you know that tier is no longer available. When I deleted the tier, it did make you no longer a member of my channel. I want to let you know I didn't boot you out because I'm being mean or that I didn't want your support. Matter of fact, I'm actually incredibly thankful that I had your support, that you were a member on the channel. I did that simply because I'm no longer making the digital astrological planner, so I didn't want you to continue to be charged for something that you will not be receiving. So I want to let you know, if you're wondering where your little gold star went, that is why. You can jump in at a different tier. There's planets tier. I'm still making your monthly calendars, and then comets, which are just the lights of my life who support the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. So I just want to make that clear in case you missed my prior announcement and you're like, girl, what's going on? Where's my gold star? Every time I see a comet with one of those gold stars, that's a little icon for my members. It just makes my heart so happy. But just wanted to say you're welcome to jump in at a different tier, or just know that I'm incredibly grateful for the time that I got to have you as a member. Thank you so much for helping the channel and helping me as a creator. Thank you so much. And you know, I went over the rationale of why I made that decision a couple Magic Mondays ago. But I want to share here, in light of this very Plutonian week, there is power in the pivot. There is no shame in trying something and deciding it is not for you and shifting gears. That means you are committing to your evolution. You are committing to your transformation. And some of us, with the charts that we have, with the designs that we have, we are here to try things and see if it's for us and either evolve within it or shift gears. And there's no shame in that. I think a lot of times we have certain shame when we try things and they don't work out. And if you've been with me on this journey, you know that I have had many pivots within my business, and it's okay to have pivots. Like, if you followed me for a while, you know that I used to have a YouTube channel where I would teach new moon and full moon yoga classes. And within my mind, I was like, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be so aligned. I've been a yoga instructor for this many years. I love astrology. How cool to be able to merge it. And within my mind, I was like, this is going to be perfect. This is going to be a blending of everything I love to do. And I did love to do it. I love to film it. I love to edit it. I love to do voiceovers. What I did not love was something I would have never been able to foresee had I not jumped in and done it. And that was the creepy comments that I had to be deleting all of the time, and very vigilant about deleting all of the time. I had no idea that sort of energy was awaiting me within the exercise realm of YouTube. People on this channel are very kind and respectful and not weird. So I just didn't know that all of a sudden, in a full body lens, there would be a different sort of energy awaiting me. That's data and intel I didn't know until I tried it. And again, I could have had shame around, oh, this looks like a failure because I tried to do this YouTube channel and then I just abandoned it only after a couple classes. But there's power in the pivot. There's no medal at the end of your life around doing everything perfectly and in the most linear fashion. It's all about taking the data and continuing to evolve forward, whether that's within your chosen pursuit or deciding this is no longer serving me, it's time to shift gears. So I just wanted to share that just in case anybody else is also battling with that shame around feeling like you are letting people down by not offering something particular within your business, or deciding that your career path is not for you, or craving another shift within your universe. The only person you are truly letting down at the end of the day is yourself by not fully building a life that is true to your strengths, to your actualization. And so I just wanted to share that. There's no shame in trying things and shifting gears. Like I said, a lot of people's charts and design, that is how they're meant to live. Like for me, I have North Node on Pluto. In human design, I'm a manifesting generator. In numerology, I'm a life path 5. Shall I go on? Within my design, change is the only constant. That's how I'm meant to live. That's how I tune into my own magic. And when I'm filming, when I'm meeting with clients, when I'm doing what lights me up, I always advise to build a life true to your own magic. And so it'd be very hypocritical for me not to be true to mine in an effort to try to keep up appearances around, look, I finish everything I start. I never just try things and realize it's not for me. That's not realistic, especially with how my chart is set up. And may I just say that the best magic is yet to come. That's what's fun about being on this journey with a North Node Pluto, with the manifesting generator, with the life path 5, whatever it is that you want to consider it. That's what's fun about being on this journey. I know it must be frustrating sometimes, the pivots that I've taken just within my content and whatnot, but I always keep it interesting. I always have something up my sleeve. I'm always moving with passion, and that's how you know it's the right step. So I'm excited to share what magic is brewing next. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Vibe Check of the Week. So here in Vibe Check of the Week, we essentially translate all of the cosmic energies awaiting us within this week ahead. Aquarius season beginning, Venus square Neptune, Mercury trine Jupiter, all of that. We compare those energies to a real life scenario, so that even if you are not well versed with what it means that Mercury is leaving its post-retrograde shadow, with what it means that Pluto is re-entering Aquarius, we essentially illuminate that energy by comparing it to a real life scenario. So that even if you don't know the ins and outs with what Pluto's all about, you understand, oh, I've kind of been in a situation like that, or I felt that emotion before. Something like that has happened to my friend. So this week's astrology feels like the following scenario. We will say that you have built your career around being a management consultant. You've worked for an agency and it has served you well in many ways, but it's beginning to come to a point in which it is no longer serving you. The burnout is becoming more and more pronounced, and also that passion, that enthusiasm that you went into this industry with is beginning to wane. And a new idea is percolating within you, one that terrifies you as much as it excites you. This idea to take all of these skills that you have chiseled and go out on your own, start your own agency, or take on your own clients under your own umbrella. And this terrifies you because you are leaving security. You are leaving stability in what it is that you have built. You have people who rely on you. You've built your entire career with this company. You don't know what it's like to start your own business. So you try to snooze this desire rising within you around it's time to do your own thing. It's time to take flight. It's time to face your fear and go out on your own. Take all those skills you've chiseled and go out on your own. You try to snooze and it's just getting louder and louder and louder and louder until finally you cannot take it any longer. You can just feel this career that you've built, that you have worked so hard for, it just feels like it's crumbling all around you and you are physically repelling it. You know you cannot continue to show up any longer. And so you go to your boss who you've worked for many years and you explain that you are putting in your 2 weeks, that you are going to start your own firm, you're going to start your own agency. And because they don't want to lose you, they come back with a rebuttal. They say, hey, what if we bump your pay? What if we cut your hours in half? What if we give you more agency about which clients you want to sign on with, which companies you want to management consult on? And you're tempted. And you're tempted. This is sounding like a pretty sweet deal. You can't help but be a little bit swayed looking at the number. But the longer you think about this offer, the more you just feel this pit within your stomach. And you cannot see yourself continuing to work at this place. So even though it's against your better judgment, you're looking at that number and you're like, in this economy, that is a great number. And to do less work and to do the companies that I like, it's so tempting. But for some reason, I need to trust what it is that I am being pulled towards. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. We're like, why am I being so pulled to jump into the abyss of working for myself? That's such a risk. That's so scary. But it's like your future self is magnetizing you towards, because it knows what's there waiting on the other side. The other side of your fears, the other side of your clinging to what was. And so you turn down the offer and you choose to take the scary, terrifying path of starting your own firm. So am I saying that we are all going to go out and start our own management consultant business this week? No, I am not. I'm not even certain what management consulting is. So I sure am not. Maybe you are, but I'm not. But alas, the reason why this is the vibe check is because there is this energy around having to choose ourselves, having to choose transformation, having to shed what was and what it is that we've built to step into what will be. Because Pluto is leaving Capricorn not for the final time, okay? The final graduation of Pluto and Capricorn will be November of 2024. It does re-enter a little later in the year. But essentially, Pluto is leaving for now Capricorn, which Capricorn is about big business. It's about things that feel very steady and durable. It's things that we've built and chiseled for a lot of us over an extended amount of time. And with Sun on Pluto, that has been part of your identity, to be a management consultant at that business. You have identified with that. And you don't know why, but it's just crumbling for you. Sometimes this tower moment doesn't come within lightning bolts and flames, right? Sometimes it just comes around our intuition just shutting something down or like repelling us away from that, just like that is not where your greatest growth lies. And like I said within my rant, within the Cosmic Cafe, sometimes we can experience shame around, what if I step out on my own and I fall on my butt and I have to go crawling back to my old company and they won't even take me? Like there's so much risk within this path. Why am I feeling so guided towards it? And listen, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees that you're going to start this management consulting company and it's going to be a worldwide success and give you way more options and way more of what it is that you're looking for. You very well could make that happen. It very well may not work out. You might try it and realize it's not for me having to constantly chase clients. I liked my company just kind of feeding me a steady drip of clients. At least you know. At least you have that knowledge and you don't have to snooze that desire within you around, I wonder what it would be like to step out on my own. I wonder what it would be like to step out on my own. I wonder what it would be like to step out on my own. It gets tiresome to continually snooze that desire that is bubbling up from your higher self. And so when it comes this week, you may feel called to face some fears, particularly certain fears that you could have seen your identity within, with the Pluto Cazimi occurring this weekend. We have Sun aligning with Pluto. So for some of you, there's something that you've built that you've seen yourself as around, I am this management consultant, I work here. What would that say about me if I try something new and I fail? It's important to highlight, we're wrapping up Capricorn season. What it is that you do is not all that you are. And if you build your life around what will look successful and actualize to other people, all of the success that you will build will feel hollow to yourself. You got to keep the eye on the prize around what will success look like for you. It's not just flaunting on LinkedIn and making a certain amount of money, right? We talked about that with the Capricorn new moon last week. It's about what will success mean for you. How is it that you are feeling called to innovate the management consultant industry with Pluto entering Aquarius and Sun entering Aquarius? Maybe stepping out on your own will give you more agency and innovation in order to try new things, to innovate the industry, to innovate the management consultant sector. Whatever that may mean. There are no guarantees when we talk about Pluto. There's no guarantee that this next pivot will be the one that leads to success and everything that you are craving, but at least you will have that knowledge around what it'll be like to work for yourself. Maybe you won't like it and you'll shift gears. You won't know until you try, and you have to get to the other side of your fears. You have to be able to see the worst case scenario. I start this business, it doesn't work out. I have to crawl back to my own company. You have to see that fear and still be willing to go with it anyway, right? Making peace with the worst case scenario and being able to say, even as horrendous as that would be, what would be truly horrendous is being on the last bed that I will ever lie on. Pluto gets morbid sometimes. And still having that desire within around, what if I had gone out on my own? How could I have innovated this industry that I'm so passionate about? How could I have built a more humanitarian ecosystem within this industry that is very stuffy and particular and true to a certain status quo? Okay, I'm not shading any management consultants out there. I'm just saying, with Pluto and Aquarius, maybe there's this desire within you around, you want to innovate, you want to try your own thing, to have the space to revolutionize your industry in some way. It could work out, it could not. You won't know until you try. And this week is about being able to face your fears, get acquainted with that worst case scenario, and still choose transformation anyway. Because you don't know what's on the other side of that bridge. It could be the manifestation of your ultimate desires, or it could be that worst case scenario, and you simply won't know until you cross it. And the energy around the inspiration and the beginning to work out the pieces around, okay, financially, how can I make this work, right? Or what are the steps necessary to start the business? Like you doing the preliminary steps around, how am I going to make this happen, right? It can't just be this leap of faith where I'm just going to jump to the other side and hope it works out. I really want to intentionally build my next steps. That's the energy of Mercury sextile Saturn, Mercury trine Jupiter. But within the vibe check, there was an offer on the table that seemed rather tempting. That is the influence of Venus square Neptune this week, which can make this energy within love and money that not all is as it seems, but it's tempting. When we talk about Neptune energy, it's the rose-colored glasses. So your boss is selling you this dream around you'll only work for companies that you want to, you'll have double your pay, you'll work less. What's the catch? What's the fine print? Venus square Neptune makes that unclear, so it's important to do some digging, right? Mercury's in Capricorn, trining Jupiter, sextile Saturn. Ask the tough questions, and furthermore, ask the most important question of all, is that, does this align with my vision, with my heart-centered, soul-centered vision, with what I want to build, the legacy that I want to lead? Does this align with it? And if not, this week may push you to make the difficult decision to choose who it is that you are evolving into rather than who it is that you've been. So my loves, we will dive so much deeper into this energy thematically as well as day by day. I want to firstly say that all times that I mention within this video are PST. Please adjust to your time zone if you are located elsewhere in this big beautiful planet than I am here on the West Coast. I also have included timestamps below where you can jump to a particular day, jump back to a particular day. So there's also a feature on YouTube that I encourage you to use if you find that the style of my speaking is a little overwhelming. You can slow me down, you can speed me up, click playback speed and adjust accordingly. And my loves, let's go ahead and take it into Monday, January 15th. So on Monday, January 15th, we have the Capricorn Sun sextiling Neptune in Pisces, which is the doing, that's the Capricorn Sun, meets the dreaming, that's the Neptune in Pisces. And to take action within our physical material reality to bring our dreams into reality, into fruition. And it feels incredibly aligned that Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and he is a Capricorn Sun in Pisces moon. So talk about someone who had a dream and took action on it. When we have weeks such as this, where we have Sun getting closer to Pluto at the anaretic degree, we could be observing destruction. Globally, we could be observing the darker underbelly of human nature within our immediate environment. Pluto energy can make us face the darkest parts of being a human being on this planet. And it can be so challenging to keep that dream alive during times such as these. But it is even more important to keep those visions, to keep those dreams alive during this time. I think that's going to be really important with Pluto moving into Aquarius. The old way of doing things is crumbling, and we need visionaries and dreamers who are willing to take their visions and bring them into action to guide us into this next paradigm, into this next chapter for all of humanity. And the moon will be in Pisces all day on Monday as well, which adds to this very visionary, dreamy energy. And it's an important reminder that we can use our dreams one of two ways. The energy of Pisces itself, it loses its potency when they take their dreams, and rather than making it happen on planet Earth, they use those dreams to escape from reality. In that this world has disappointed them so much that they decide to create their own one. They get so jaded and they just give up on human nature altogether. It's let them down. It's beaten them down so badly that they decide to escape and numb themselves within their own visions and dreams, nearly checking out from this physical experience to even take action to make them happen. But on the other side of Pisces, where Pisces regains its full potency, is when they take those visions and they make them happen here on planet Earth. And a lot of the cosmos is nudging you to do just that. When we consider that Saturn is also in Pisces, we are being nudged as a collective to take our visions, take our dreams, whether it's individually or collectively, and make them happen within our physical reality. And it's not going to be easy. The Capricorn Sun promises that. Saturn may be in dreamy Pisces, but it's Saturn after all. It takes perseverance. It takes showing up physically. It takes having that tenacity. And furthermore, working that muscle of keeping that dream alive. Because even when we think about the vibe check of you setting off on this new journey of starting your management consultant business and just being so sure that this is going to revolutionize the industry, this is going to be such a better, more equitable company that really integrates the humanitarian beliefs that you live by. That is the vision. But there is going to be hard days. There is going to be days in which you feel beaten down, and keeping that dream alive is an important muscle to work. So whether you're bolstering a dream that you want to take action on or having to reconnect with the initial vision of why you made this decision, Monday's astrology is asking you to ensure that what it is that you are building within your business, within your career, within your family is soul-centered, heart-centered. That's the energy of Neptune in Pisces. And finding those ways to infuse a little bit of magic, that's Neptune in Pisces, within the mundane. That's Sun in Capricorn. Listen, I'm not calling Capricorn placements mundane, but it has to do with our physical, tangible reality, which sometimes it's gritty. Sometimes it's having to get up earlier than we would want to. Sometimes it's having to hold our tongue if there is a customer who is being rather rude to us. Sometimes it is having to work that muscle of still being the example for our children, even when we are exhausted and really want to give little Tommy a piece of our mind, okay? Sometimes it's hard to keep that compassion, that that vision, that mission of why you initially made this decision alive. But it's important to regularly revisit that dream, regularly revisit that vision. It'll take shifts. Sun aligning with Pluto reminds us of that. It'll pivot, it'll transform, it'll evolve. Your dream will take many different paths and detours. Sure, mine has, but it's important every so often that you reconnect. What is my vision of success? What will I feel like is making the world a better place? Where is my heart at? And how do I want to integrate my soul into what it is that I am doing, building, ascending to? And so Monday's astrology is a great day to revisit that. And you know, it's never been a more aligned time for you to bring that dream into reality. The moon is waxing. We have almost all of the planets direct and in new territory. Mercury joins the in new territory party a little later this week. We have a lot within the cosmos that is asking you to move towards that future that is there waiting for you, and it'll come to you and whisper to you via your dreams, via your visions. And this world is harsh. This world is challenging. This world will beat you down, but it'll be the dreamers and the visionaries who are leading us into the new paradigm with Pluto and Aquarius. That I can say. So it's important to keep your dream alive on Monday. And the moon will be in Pisces all day, so you may be observing that you feel a little bit more emotional, a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more intuitive, kind of soaking up all that's happening around you with moon meeting up with Neptune. And if you just so happen to have the day off for the holiday, would be such a great day to go for an adventure. The Pisces moon sextiling Uranus supports the new. The Pisces moon squaring Venus in Sagittarius supports the adventuring. Just know with moon on Neptune, you could be feeling things more intensely, feeling your own emotions more intensely, feeling the emotions of those around you. It's so lovely to soak in your surroundings when it is something soulfully nourishing when moon's on Neptune. So if you do immerse yourself in nature or go to church or anywhere else that you find a lot of spiritual significance, with moon Neptune, you could just be soaking in all of that good energy, all of the love within your friend group, whatever it is that you choose to do that day. But you could also be soaking in some toxicity if you are in some toxic environments. It's important to highlight Pisces is the fish. Dirty water, sick fish. So you can find you are soaking up other people's emotions and impressions like osmosis. Pisces is the only water sign that has no exoskeleton. It has nothing to defend itself. It just is its environment. It drinks it in, right? And so obviously we can't necessarily avoid anything unpleasant within our experience, but this would just be a day if you know that there's a certain client who always gives you a really hard time. With moon Neptune, you might take that on a little bit more personally. You might take on their bad mood and wonder why you're in a bad mood for the rest of the day. Important to be intentional about your surroundings and really curate your waters around yourself. Allow yourself to have some soulful waters. If you have to be at work, play some music that soothes you. Have an essential oil spray by your computer where you can spray every so often. Just be intentional around curating an environment of peace, of compassion, but with boundaries. Compassion with boundaries. And again, so long as you can really be intentional about what it is that you are taking on and absorbing, it should be a nice productive day, particularly for anything that is more visionary or imaginative. Would be a great day to write a song, to paint something. Follow where Muse may take you, because Muse might take you somewhere magical on Monday if you open yourself up around Muse. Where would you have me go? What would you have me work on? You can find when you surrender, big theme of this week's astrology, when you surrender around how you thought the day was going to go and allow the universe to show you, you could create or build something really lovely or really magical. And with Capricorn Sun, sextile Neptune and Pisces, it's important to know that you can infuse these Neptunian energies around what means something to you. The visions that you have for humanity, that can come through in so many different ways, my love. Do not feel like if you are not a politician or a CEO that you cannot create genuine change on this planet. You can whisper your heart song or your visions for humanity through the writing that you create. You can whisper your heart song through the way that you help people check out books, through your work as a librarian. You can whisper your heart song through the way that you raise your children. Capricorn Sun is asking us to really rise up to being the example, to setting the example of the visions that we have for humanity in whatever format that may take on, and to observe where the universe is guiding us, observe where Muse is speaking to you, observe what you are feeling drawn to. You can even ask yourself, like, universe, what would you have me do today? What impact would you have me have? You might feel like you meant to start this GoFundMe for this really important cause, but for some reason you felt called to go to the park and you ended up having this lovely conversation with this elderly woman who told you this amazing story, and you just really took that time to listen, and she was so grateful that you held that space. It wasn't how you initially meant to spend your time, but who's to say that that was not the most valuable way to spend your time? Capricorn Sun speaks to ascending to the peak of our abilities, given all of the resources that we have available, our talents, our skills, what have you, and just knowing that you're not in this alone. I know Capricorn energy can make us feel like Capricorn energy can make us feel such a weight on our back, and it's all on our shoulders to bring these visions into reality. But just knowing that you have a support team from the cosmos, and you can always ask for inspiration or for guidance and just say, universe, show me where I should go, and really following the whispers. And as they arise, we talked a lot about aligned action. That's important. And just knowing that the universe knows everything about you. It knows your talents, it knows your skills, it knows your abilities. It did not give you those dreams for no reason. It gave you those dreams in order to bring in an impact in the most aligned way that you possibly could. And that might look different than how you thought you could make this amazing impact, but the universe knows the bigger scale, who you could reach, what you could do. So Monday's astrology is a great day to be open to divine guidance and act on it when it arises, and tap into your power with that. Like, I'm telling you, when you're moving with spirit, when you're moving with universe, you tap into reservoirs of courage that you didn't know that you had. That's why within the vibe check, you still felt empowered to put your 2 weeks notice in, because you had that dream, right, with the Capricorn Sun, sextile Neptune and Pisces, and you also just had this pull within you that was telling you this is what you are meant to do. And part of you might be terrified, but part of you was pulling you towards this action. I'm telling you, when you're moving with alignment, when you're moving with spirit, doors open, magic occurs, and you will take risks and step into new opportunities that you had never conceived were possible for you prior. You tap into this whole new reservoir of strength, but it will require you every so often to take that leap of faith. So after the Pisces moon sextiles Pluto and Capricorn around 8:33 p.m., the moon is void very briefly because Pluto's chilling at the 29th degree of Capricorn. The moon will enter Aries at 8:49 p.m., which can make us feel a little bit more action-oriented, impulsive, bold. So on Tuesday, January 16th, the moon continues on in Aries, which can make us a bit more headstrong, prone to take action now and think later. And listen, like I said, when you're moving with spirit, you will know when it's meant to take action. And I would definitely say, if this is your story, this is an important week to look before you leap. And you do have some helpful energy baked into this week's astrology. I'm not saying not to leap. I'm just saying with Mercury sextile Saturn and Mercury trine Jupiter, do research around what will it take to start my own business? How can I market my management consultant firm, right? Taking those leaps around, okay, I'm really feeling this call. This relationship is no longer for me. Let me put some feelers out there to find somewhere else to live. It is important to plot our next steps and move in that beautiful balance of feeling divinely aligned with spirit and being exactly where it is that you are meant to be, while also being intentional about the steps that you are taking, particularly as for a lot of us, we step into this new chapter that we are building. And the reason why I say that is because certainly with the first quarter moon in Aries the following day, and just with the energies on Tuesday, which I will discuss shortly, there can be this impulsive energy around wanting to take action now. Just having an annoying client at your management consultant business and being like, forget it, I'm done. I quit, I'm out of here. Letting those impulses win out. And the reason why I say that is there's this battle between how it is that we feel, that's Aries moon, and it squares Mercury, which is in Capricorn, which is what's logical and practical. What's logical and practical is for me to hear and say, even though this client doesn't know what they're talking about, and I did my due diligence and I've got receipts, screenshots, timeline. I've got it all. Okay, that's what's logical that I should do. But dang, with this Aries moon, I really want to sass this person back for the way that they're talking to me right now. You can have this clash between how you feel versus what is rational. There could be a clash between the head and the heart. And with the Aries moon, you can feel tempted Tuesday and Wednesday to react very impulsively, to make a decision very suddenly, to not look before you leap, or at least plot the next steps in order to make this new chapter the most powerful one yet. Like I said, this is not a week to let fear hold you back. I just want you to be certain when you make that decision that you don't make that decision and you're like, ooh, I should have actually stayed at that job a little bit longer just to make sure I got a nice recommendation from my boss as I start this new chapter within my own. It's important with Monday's astrology, with the Aries moon squaring Mercury and Mars, to act as you must and not as you feel. My mentor always tells me this. She's a Capricorn moon, and she'll always tell me, Haley, professionals act as they must and not as they feel. It is not a good idea to let your emotions or your anger or your frustrations leak into doing business. It's important to stay professional, to stay calm-headed, as well as even if you're feeling those nudges around, I am feeling called to do something differently, it's not wise to burn bridges. It's always important to be professional. Even if Linda has you messed up with this situation, and as per your last email, it was attached right there, and I don't know why she's throwing me under the bus, take a deep breath. Professionals act as they must and not as they feel, okay? And it's just important on Tuesday that you don't allow your impulses to get the better of you, whether that's in a professional matter or on the road. I definitely think on Tuesday there could be some road rage. People could be driving really fast and really crazy, getting really impatient. So important to be mindful of that. And just really watching your mouth, right? With Aries moon squaring Mercury, squaring Mars, something could frustrate you and you want to say something instantaneously, whether at work, on the road, to your partner, having a little bit more poison in your tongue than you would necessarily want to. With the Aries moon, a beautiful part about this placement is oftentimes it's about just feeling the emotion, letting yourself feel it entirely, and then just letting it go. Like that's the energy of Aries moon, is that they typically don't stew about things. They will have a reaction, okay? They'll yell, they'll stomp, they'll do whatever they need to do to get that energy out of their system, but then it's out of their system, right? And so I would just say, try not to allow that steam to be directed towards somebody you can find you're not proud of the way that you handled yourself within that meeting or within that email string. Okay, release that steam via a workout, via screaming into a pillow, via going into the middle of the forest and screaming. And you also could just be feeling frustrated with yourself, frustrated with your lack of progress, if that feels relevant within your journey, frustrated in your fears. Like there could just be an energy around battling with yourself on Tuesday. And you also could be feeling a little bit more drained with the moon squaring Mars. You can be just feeling not very motivated. Like for you, maybe the final straw isn't that client at your management consultant business who has you all messed up, but maybe it's just getting to your computer and just being like, I have no interest to still do this any longer. I feel so drained. I feel like I'm forcing myself to go through the motions here. This is not for me. That can also be telling you something. And again, you're going to want to plan your next steps. You're going to want to be intentional with how it is that you build your next chapter, but certainly note the data around what's coming up for you, what's frustrating you right now, what's your heart telling you, what are your emotions telling you. Don't let them run you and run your dealings and run your communications, but definitely allow them that space to be felt. And that evening, the Aries moon will align with Chiron, so there can be certain pangs within you. Aries is the sign of self. It's a very independent, self-sufficient energy. Independence and self-sufficient can feel really great at certain chapters around, I don't need anyone, I don't need a partner, I don't need a friend group, what have you. It can feel empowering in some ways, and in other ways it can feel very isolating and very lonely. And with the Aries moon aligning with Chiron, there can be an energy in which you are feeling the grittiness and the realness of your life, of kind of having a blah day, of maybe microwaving a lean cuisine that's kind of soggy and gross, and trying to watch a show but your TV's not working. Like, you know, just one of those blah days, having one of those, and then hop hopping on Insta and seeing, oh, look at this adorable friend group who's somehow in Santorini right now having the time of their life. Next photo, oh, look, my friend from high school got another Cartier bracelet. How do they possibly afford that? Oh, look at this person I dated during their engagement shoot looking adorable. Oh, look, this person in my niche has way more followers and way more success than I. And comparing that to your lean cuisine and your TV and feeling like a failure. But you do not know the intricacies of their experiences. And that's so important to remember with Venus squaring Neptune a little later this week. Because Venus square Neptune can be that energy around people trying to sell you the dream. And sure, sometimes that can show up within tempting contracts like we talked about within the vibe check where they're like, we'll give you everything you want and extra, just stay with us, don't start your own company. But it can also show up around just interacting on social media or just what people talk about when you are with them. Typically, if somebody is the loudest and most insistent around, look at me, I'm living the best life and I have the best relationship and everything's going great, typically they have the most to prove or they do feel the most insecure themselves. That's why they're so trying to buy you into the fantasy that they are projecting. My mentor told me in our call this morning, she said, Haley, your first million is your loudest million. Like typically when people first start making money, they really want to project a certain lifestyle around, look, I have this and I have this, I have this. When you start to make real money, you typically don't want to draw that much attention to it. Money talks and wealth whispers. Typically when people are being very ostentatious with their money or with their wealth, they're trying to sell you into a dream and sell themselves into a dream that they are living. And that can show up in many different ways. Again, post whatever it is that you want to post, but if you're observing that you're getting triggered around, everybody just seems like they're living these cool, fun lives, and I'm not, really be discerning. If there are certain people who are constantly breathing down, look at my relationship, we're having the best relationship, we are the best couple, or like, look at my friend group, we are the best friend group, we are the best, or like, look at all my nice things, look. Are they trying to sell you on the dream or are they trying to sell themselves on the dream? Typically when we are the most vocal around, look at me, look at me, look at me, we have something to prove or we're craving some validation. So I just want you to be mindful because with Venus square Neptune, not all is as it seems. You don't know the intricacies of that friend group that you see on Instagram. They could talk behind each other's backs for all you know. You don't know the intricacies on that engagement shoot. You don't know if that person really has those Cartier bracelets or rented them just to flex on Insta. Listen, it's crazy out here, okay? It is crazy out here. People rent a fake private jet to take photos pretending that they are on a private jet. Not all is as it seems. Do not compare your realness of your soggy lean cuisine to rented Cartier bracelets on the gram. You don't know the full story. And so with the moon Chiron, just feels like there are certain pangs around, why aren't I like this? Why aren't I like that? You don't know the intricacy, the images that you are seeing at this moment. So it's important not to compare your realness with the potential fakeness that circulates online. And that's why it's also important, just with Capricorn season wrapping up, that we are intentional about the metrics that we utilize to define success, right? Like, are that many Cartier bracelets important to you personally? Do you truly value quantity of friends beyond quality? Is it more important to you to get engaged to someone that looks good in your engagement shoot or somebody who treats you with respect and your visions for the future are aligned? It's just important to be intentional around what's success to me and not get diverted by imagery of other people projecting, look at me, I'm successful, you should try to be like me. Because a lot of social media is like that. And like I said, this week, there could be shiny object syndrome, okay? I'm just being honest with you. So it's important to be intentional around what it is that you define as success because that helps you figure out, is this part of my vision of success? No? Then let me not allow this to take real estate within my brain. Carry on, keep going. There's too many lucrative Mercury aspects coming in to slow down now. So on Wednesday, January 17th, is it hot in here or is it just the Aries moon trine Venus in Sagittarius landing at 12:22 p.m.? This is a fiery flow of energy that can be allowing you to feel more confident. You also could be feeling more attractive. You could be wanting to do your makeup, do your hair, get dressed, and look more alluring and enticing. Listen, you always look hot, but you could really be feeling this energy around really wanting to lead with your most fiery foot forward with moon trining Venus, working out to feel confident, confident, doing your makeup to feel confident, what have you. I do believe getting ready can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you look good, you feel good, and good things happen. Be intentional in the morning around charging up your life force energy. This would be a great morning to get ready listening to your baddie playlist and watch the confidence that you take with you into the rest of the day. Listen, music is such a brilliant way to manipulate vibration. Have different playlists for different moods that you want to take on and embody, and you will be shocked by how quickly the vibration can shift simply by listening to the music that reflects what it is that you want to embody moving into that week. I am incredibly intentional about the music that I listen to within the morning, and I have different playlists for like, what is it that I really want to call in today? Who do I want to be? What do I want to step in as? Because sometimes you got to outsource confidence. Okay, sometimes you wake up and you're not feeling like a baddie. Sometimes some situations has your head all messed up, and that's when you need to call in the reinforcements. Okay, whoever that is for you, whether that is Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Britney, Dua. Editing Haley here. Please excuse the brief interruption, but I just need to put you guys on. I have been obsessed with Bear's music, particularly Get Ready to I Can Never Die by Bear, and tell me you do not feel like a baddie. Okay, just had to share because Bear actually watches here on Magic Monday, which is how I found out about the music, and it's been an obsession ever since. So just putting you guys on, if you need some new ads to your vibe playlist, especially with Wednesday's astrology, and honestly every day's astrology, who doesn't need to hear music from a Capricorn Sun, Leo rising to charge them up to start the day? I don't know a person who wouldn't benefit from that. So anyways, back to the video. Call in the reinforcements until you are feeling like a baddie, because you would be so shocked at how quickly that can help you shift the vibration and then step into that boardroom or that meeting, that fair, whatever it is that you have to do on Wednesday. You'd be so shocked by the music that you feed that echoes the vibration you want to take on, by how you can weave that into your day. And sometimes you got to take a pause and be like, listen, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling myself. This is not the energy I want to take with me into my day. Let me put on a playlist that at first, this is not how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling like a baddie. 3 or 4 songs in, you'll be remembering who it is that you are, which is a baddie, okay? Sometimes you gotta get your mind right. When your mind is all messed up about one thing or another, you have to be like, hold on, let me remember who it is that I am. Vibrationally, getting ready for the day is just as important as like physically getting ready for the day. And I would say Wednesday is a great day to do both in tandem. Remember who it is that you are and step into your Wednesday feeling like the most empowered, strongest, most confident, most independent version of yourself, okay? That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you might have in the morning really taken your time, gotten ready. The aspect itself exacts at 12:22, so you could be feeling this at lunchtime, feeling more social. You could be wanting to go for a walk or get a workout in during your lunch break or something of that nature. PST wise, that will happen at different time for those elsewhere. But I do want to say, the more we get closer to night, there could be this energy of urgency building within the cosmos. Things could feel to be on fire at work. There's something that's messed up, tensions are high. I might be intentional with the words that I'm choosing, but the first quarter crisis moon phase could be pushing you to action or to face your fears or to go after this new journey fearlessly. And that evening, not only do we have the first quarter moon, which could make us feel like we have to take action, we also have the Aries moon squaring Pluto, which could be dropping our emotions into a very intense place, making us feel like it's now or never, feeling like things are falling apart, right? Sometimes moon square Pluto can make us destructive or even lash out. When you take action or take a leap that is meant for you, there might be chaos surrounding it initially around, should I stay, should I go? But it's so weird. When you know it's time, you'll all of a sudden feel this sensation of peace. When it comes to moving in alignment with spirit, it will nudge you when it is time. If you're still in indecision, or you're still like, I don't know what to do, take a moment to be still. So you will know when something is for you. Even if there's chaos around it, or around, gosh, I'm feeling so not happy with my job or within my relationship, when it's time to take that leap, all of a sudden it will feel still and calm and peaceful, because you will have this certainty deep within around it's time. There was a quote I heard the other day. It was repeated by Sofia Coppola. It was not an original quote to her. If you know who originally said this quote, let me know below. But the quote is, let me do the things I want to do. Let me not do the things that I don't want to do. And let me have the quiet time in order to distinguish the difference. If you are feeling pushed into this now or never energy, it might be a really important time to go still, look inward. It's a first quarter moon in Aries. To thine own self be true. You have to come inward every so often to really contemplate, is this what I want? Because if you are reacting, right, if you are lashing out, if you are taking action just because it got hard or a client yelled at you or something of that nature, you will just be flailing into the next step. And like I said, with Venus square Neptune, there's some snakes in the grass. There could be some people who are making promises that are too good to be true. So it's important to come inward to really clarify, what is it that I want? How can I take the next step based on what's feeling the most empowered for me right now, so that you're not reacting in this very knee-jerk or impulsive way is going to be important. So on Thursday, January 18th, the vibe chills out quite a bit. The moon enters Taurus shortly after midnight. This is the sign of the moon's exaltation, which indicates that we're having a little bit more of a grounded approach as it relates to what it is that we are feeling. With the sun in an earth sign and the moon in an earth sign, you could be feeling more called to indulge in all the sensual pleasures of being a human, surely working hard to achieve your dreams with the Capricorn sun, but also enjoying the process with the Taurus moon, looking cute as you do it, eating good food as you do it, taking baths as you do it, buying yourself something nice every so often as you do it, right? Enjoying the pursuit. And then also shortly after midnight, Mercury in Capricorn will sextile Saturn in Pisces, which hopefully you're able to reach for that on Wednesday around, let me think strategically, let me tune into what it is that I want, what it is that I don't want, and let me allow myself the quiet time in order to tell the difference. Saturn is an energy that thinks long term, right? It doesn't react simply on impulse. It thinks through the facts of the matter around, yes, it's absolutely possible for you to take this leap and start your own business, but let's begin putting some pieces together. Let's do some research. Let's ensure that we look before we make this leap. We cannot ensure that there will be no risk whatsoever. It's life. It's all risk, right? But we can ensure that we soften the landing, or at least move into this next chapter with a plan or with a strategy that we are taking on. And so with Mercury sextile Saturn, this would be like within the vibe check around, let me start to save more money for a little bit of cushion. Let me plot out my 6 months goals and my year goals so that at least when I transition, I have a plan, I have structure, I have potentially a team. Like Mercury sextile Saturn is a grounded, strategic look at our future and how it is that we want to put together the pieces in order to get to where it is that we want to get to. And I just want to say that if you see yourself within this vibe check, you want to work for yourself, you want to quit your job, I would definitely say with Mercury sextile Saturn, do some research, have a plan, have an emergency fund, give yourself the solid footing so that your dream could survive. I could have quit my 9 to 5 a lot earlier than I did. I could have stopped freelancing a lot earlier than I did. And I don't know if it's the Saturnian part within me, but I didn't want to suffocate my dream too early by asking it to pay my bills right off the bat. It's very challenging to start a business that's profitable right out the gate. So sometimes you do have to make those sacrifices around building it on the side until it's profitable, or staying in your job an extra year than you would want to as you plot your next move. Sometimes it does take strategy like that, but it helps to have a plan. Like as soon as I realized that I wanted to go my own way and start my own career and do my own thing, I started saving, I started planning, I started building it on the side until that was profitable. And again, people have different paths. If you are at a job that is negatively affecting your physical health, your mental health, if you have a boss who is abusive and it is affecting your well-being, it perhaps would behoove you to get out of that situation sooner rather than later. I'm just letting you know, me with my chart, with my Saturn, with my risk tolerance, I built all of my stuff stuff on the side while still having my 9 to 5. Because again, it's very volatile to work for yourself. You go from having all the structure to no structure, and you really have to build that muscle around being accountable. No one's making you work. No one's making you show up. So for me, practicing those skills to see, can I even work for myself? Do I even have the diligence to sit down and work on this thing rather than go out with my friends? To me, that showed me I could do this. I do have the accountability and the responsibility in order to do this and to get paid for it. So for me, that was what was necessary to quit my job. That's not the path for everyone. I'm just sharing in the Saturn ruled season from a Saturnian gal. That was what helped me. And again, once you make that decision around, this is not my path, you can start planning, building, use your 9 to 5 to fund your dream until your dream is funding your lifestyle. Okay, that would be my advice for anybody who wants to transition from the corporate world into working for yourself. And so anyway, rant over, let's get back to the astrology. So we have that Mercury sextile Saturn energy after midnight, which should be helping with focus, with precision, with attunement to the details. Thursday's astrology just has a really lovely cadence to it with the Taurus moon sextiling Saturn. It aligns with Jupiter, it trines Mercury and Mars. We are getting things done and we're enjoying the process. We are showing up for our meetings, but we're taking time to go for walks and to stretch and to attune to our physical body as we do it. It's feeling good to build the vision. It's feeling good to build the dream. Even if your dream is outside of what is taking your hours from 9 to 5, it's exciting to be in that process of building the next chapter. There's just a lovely energy of patience, honestly, on Thursday. Like on Tuesday and Wednesday with Aries moon, you could have been feeling really impatient, like my new chapter needs to be here. But on Thursday, it's like, hey, the new chapter is coming. Let me put together the pieces so that I'm ready for it. So that when the call comes, I'm ready. My physical resources are ready. My soul is ready. My skill set is ready. And enjoy the process of building. Like we've been talking about with Capricorn season, that feeling of fulfillment is not waiting for you at the top of your achievements. It's in the process of ascending. And so on Thursday, great day to have a productive day and then do something fun or sensual or enjoyable in the evening. So on Friday, January 19th, it's lovely to be optimistic, but it's important to read the fine print. And the reason I say that is because Mercury trines Jupiter, which is giving this growth-oriented, optimistic flow of energy into our mental space. Keep in mind, Mercury is retracing its steps. Tomorrow, the 20th, Mercury finally moves into new territory of the sky because it leaves its post-retrograde shadow period. So there might be certain ideas or certain conversations that you are having around this time that are echoed out from prior conversations or prior ideas. Overall, Mercury's retrograde in Capricorn and Sagittarius was a celestial call for you to come inward to review, what is my vision of success? Where do I find this big picture sense of meaning? And sometimes getting closer to that vision, it takes pivots, and that's okay. Mercury retrograde could have had some pivots around at the end of December, you thought your 2024 goals were going to be something different than they are now. It's okay. Take the data and keep going, and most importantly, with Mercury and Capricorn trining Jupiter and Taurus, keep growing. But it's important because sometimes with Mercury trine Jupiter, it's important to be discerning that not everything is worth growing for you. Because on the same day, we have Venus square Neptune, and that optimistic mind state that we are in with Mercury trine Jupiter can be deceiving simply because Venus squares Neptune on the same day, where when our boss comes to us with that contract around, listen, we know you want to quit. What if we put this on the table? You'll only have companies that you want to work with. You'll get paid more. You'll work less. Mercury trine Jupiter, you could take that and be like, okay, thank you, universe. Like, yes, this is great news. Sign me up. Like optimistic around, there's no catch. There's no fine print. This is a manifestation of my desire. But is it? Like I said, come back to the drawing board. Maybe those were not even the reasons you wanted to quit. Like, sure, it's tempting, it's enticing, but those are other people's parameters of success. For you, you are feeling called to build a management consultant business that revolutionizes the industry, that integrates your humanitarian desires. Like, sure, the more pay and less work sweetens the pot, but you have to take that moment. Just because this is good news doesn't mean this is good news for my vision. You have to be mindful about other people who could try to rope you into their vision. Capricorn season, as we wrap it up, Aquarius season begins the following day, is asking you to be the boss of your universe. Decide the direction that you are going to go in, because that makes you so much less susceptible than other people trying to rope you in to their visions, to what it is they're building, to continue to build this company, even when you know your journey is taking you elsewhere. I also want to say, be mindful of this in love. This is your time. This is your world. You are the boss of your universe. Do not let other people divert you from what it is that you want and what it is that you want to build. They could be talking a big game and future faking and telling you it's going to be like this, that, or the third. But if that is not what you want, what's the purpose if it sounds sweet and it seems nice, right? You can be swept and allured by visions and dreams that are not yours to begin with, and it can distract you. It can knock you off course. Be discerning before you build other people's dreams, before you buy into other people's fantasies and projections. We talked about that in social media. Also with love offers. If somebody has a wild love offer around, we're gonna move to Guatemala, we're gonna start this new life, and it all sounds so sweet and it sounds so good, but you're like, wait a second, I want to start my business here. I don't want to start my life in Guatemala. It's a nice love offer, but it's still not for me. Like, that's the interesting part of Friday's astrology, is that there could be some good news coming in with Mercury trine Jupiter, but you have to take that moment to be like, but is this a good offer for me? It could be a good offer to the surface, but is it good for the vision that you want to build? You have to be so discerning about doing the things you want to do, not doing the things you don't want to do, and finding the quiet time in order to distinguish the difference before you get roped into building things when you're like in Guatemala and you're like, I didn't want this life. I didn't want to get back with you. It just sounded sweet, just sounded like a good offer. Or spending another year at that agency and realizing that that sweet offer that they had promised and lured you in with was actually bogus. There was like a weird catch within the fine print that you have to reach a certain quota in order to get the higher pay. And then you spend another year of your precious time building somebody else's visions rather than building your own. Be discerning. We're going from a Saturn ruled season, the sun in Capricorn, to another Saturn ruled season. The sun enters Aquarius tomorrow. And just a PS, just in case you're new here, I'm a traditional astrologer, so I do use Saturn as the ruler of Aquarius. If you're a modern astrologer, you would utilize Uranus, or you would utilize a both. But essentially, Saturn is about time. And sometimes you have to be the boss of your life and realize, where's my time going? And is this my dream? Or is this other people's dream? Do you just want me as your +1 in Guatemala? Is this my dream? Maybe that is. That's great. But all I want to say is just being mindful of the financial offers and the love offers that are on the table with Friday's astrology. And listen, sometimes these offers can throw you off course and distract you from what it is that you're working on. And that's integrated within Friday's astrology. We have Moon, Uranus. So there could be something random or unexpected that happens on Friday that totally disrupts. Like you were building, you were like excited around, I'm going to step out on my own. And then your boss puts this offer on the table that all of a sudden throws a wrench in your plans around, well, how could I say no to this, right? And it can distract you. It can muddy your thinking. You could have felt so confident and so sure of the direction that you're going in, and now you're not certain about it as well. Sometimes there can be something tempting and alluring that throws you off course. And that's why it's important to have that quiet time to distinguish, what do I want, what do I not want? And that's reflected within Friday's astrology with the Taurus moon sextiling Neptune and Pisces. Now, this could show up in a lot of different ways. With the moon aligning with Uranus, there could be some unexpected shift to the plans around a piece of technology isn't working, or something random happens weather-wise that throws you off course, right? It's important to be flexible with your day and pivot if need be, if something unexpected happens, as well as working that muscle. I say muscle because it's not always easy, of trusting, like it's got to be for a reason. This is so frustrating that my day didn't go according to plan, but I have to trust it's going in accordance to the universe's plan. And I would say with the ruler of the Taurus moon being Venus scoring Neptune, definitely be discerning about what financial offers are on the table. I'm not saying they're all bogus, but Neptune excels in smoke and mirrors. So important to use grounded Mercury in Capricorn to trine Jupiter to dig into the details. I'm not saying every offer is bad. Just really lean on that earthy trine around asking questions, reading the fine print, attending to the details, as well as consulting your soul space to say, do I even want this? Or does this just sound nice? Does this look nice? Because people can paint an entire picture and it can be alluring and enticing, but you have to take a moment to be like, just because it's alluring and enticing doesn't mean it's alluring and enticing for me. Neptune energy is siren energy, okay? There is a strong temptation this week to get knocked off course from what it is you're building. Your boat could have been all set in this direction around, I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden you're feeling lured in by these sirens. Like, you did not get in this boat for the sirens. I know they're pretty, I know they're singing nice, but that is not for you. You gotta stay focused on building what is for you. Okay, I've gathered myself, I got my head right, we're back, we're filming Magic Monday. I just needed a moment to collect myself because I just got a notification that shook me to my core. I got a notification that my ex followed me on Instagram, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Haley Comet, that is not earth-shattering. That is not a big deal. You're being so dramatic. And listen, I am, but that notification and seeing that name was like seeing a ghost. That is someone that I have not talked to, heard from, seen a photo of in nearly a decade, quite literally. That was the last name I had ever imagined would flash on my phone. Like, that literally felt like seeing someone from a prior life. Listen, I'm on good terms with some exes. I'm friends with some of my exes. That was not an ex that I was on good terms with. We had a very explosive breakup. In fact, we had many explosive breakups. Have you ever witnessed a couple where you're just like, for the love of God, can y'all break up for good this time? Because they are just like on again, off again, crying at the bar, storming out of the room. I love him, I hate him. We're back together, it's over. And you just get exhausted witnessing the volatile roller coaster of their relationship. Have you known a couple like that? We were that couple. Me and that person who just followed me on Instagram. And listen, he's a wonderful person. I'm not shading him whatsoever. I just think there's some relationships in this lifetime that bring the absolute worst out of us. And I think that relationship brought the worst out of both of us. And it got so bad that towards the end, we couldn't even tell our friends that we were back together because they were so sick of our crap and just the cyclical nature of it. So we had to keep it a secret, and then I had no one to complain to. And it was a tower. And you know, that tower was crumbling. From the first breakup, that tower was crumbling, but he or I, it would vary on who would run back to the other person, but someone always would, with duct tape, trying to repair this tower that was falling down, this relationship that was falling down. And we just stayed within this really toxic cycle. Like, he and I had Saturn aspects and synastry, harsh Saturn aspects, and it's challenging to leave those sort of relationships. It was like we just snapped back together like a rubber band. Every time one of us would try to leave, we just like could not. He felt like a drug to me. And the thing about love that feels like a drug is that you have the high, right, of getting back together, but there's always the crash, and the crash would just get darker and deeper every single time that it happened. And again, that tower was coming down, and there I was with my duct tape, or there he was with the little stilts trying to keep it up. But we both knew that it was imploding, and the destruction was getting more and more immense the more that we refused to acknowledge that the building was on fire. Because it's scary to let that tower fall, right? It's scary to go out on your own. I had kind of identified with this relationship for that portion of my journey. So I was scared about setting off the foundation of building something else with someone else. When you're living on the adrenaline from someone else, when someone else is your drug, like, the rest of life just feels so bland and colorless. And I wasn't attracted to anybody else. I didn't want anybody else. I wanted my tower. As destructive as it was, I wanted my tower. Even if it was getting harder and harder to breathe, at least I'm comfortable here. At least it's keeping me warm. And you know, I didn't really make much progress in my life during that time, because it's hard to make progress when you're just living on the high of the roller coaster with this individual. So because he and I were going in circles, I was going in circles. I was not building forward. And finally, something happened where the relationship could no longer continue. And while it was hard at the time to feel that crumbling, and it was really challenging at first, it was setting me up and him up for a better start, for a more solid foundation to build a more healthy relationship moving forward. But yeah, after our last fiery breakup, he absolutely hated me. He blocked me on everything. I could not have even social media stalked him if I wanted to. So I had no clue what he was doing in this world, if he was still in my city. I've not ran into him. I have not heard about him. Nothing. It was like he was from a prior life until right now. giving this forecast. But even just seeing his name, being reminded of that period of my life just sent my head into such a tailspin that it made it hard to continue on in Magic Monday. And that's what I'm saying these sirens will do. Again, not that it was tempting me or alluring me whatsoever, but these distractions within your path will sometimes knock you off course with what it is that you were attempting to create. So it's important to be mindful of shiny object syndrome. And maybe it's because Pluto is leaving Capricorn. Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. So maybe some of us are having nostalgia over what it is that we have built during this Pluto and Capricorn transit. Maybe there's a push with Sun and Pluto at the anaretic degree to tie up loose ends from the past as we step into the new chapter. But again, sometimes if you're in a destructive cycle, you just gotta let that tower burn. You just gotta let it go and trust that the future will have better in store for you. Okay, and it's scary. I know that final blow, when it finally ended, it took me a long time to get back on my feet. But when I say that getting that out of my life and that distraction and the up and down, it gave me the space to be able to build not just more healthy relationships, but also this vision, this dream, this business. This did not exist when I was in a relationship with him because I didn't have the clear mind. I didn't have the vision. So knowing that sometimes it's painful to let something go, sometimes it's painful to let something crumble, sometimes it's painful to say goodbye, but it can be setting you up for a more aligned, more empowered future. So on Saturday, January 20th, this is a big day. So buckle your seatbelts. We have a lot to talk about the 20th. Firstly, I want to share that the Sun conjoins with Pluto, and they meet up at the 29th degree, which is referred to within astrology as the anaretic degree. It is a degree that is charged with a sensation of urgency. And with Sun Pluto, you could be feeling this urgent desire to burn something down, and perhaps something that you have built. Like I said, Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. There can be a chapter within your universe that you are realizing you are ready to release or let go of. And Sun is about ego and identity, and just when we take it to the vibe check, you have identified with your career, and it's scary when you are burning something down or letting something go that you have seen as interchangeable with your own being. It can be scary. You could ask yourself, well, who am I if I'm not working for this company? I certainly asked myself that when I was in the connection that I just told you about on Friday. Who am I without this relationship? It can be so scary to let go of something when you're not certain what it is that you are stepping into and who it is that you will be as you are stepping into this new chapter. It can be so scary, but you are stepping into a new era, a new paradigm in which you are not finding your identity via your capitalistic benefit to society, right? But you are stepping into a new paradigm where you are not finding your identity as interwoven with your capitalistic value to society. You are stepping into an era in which you are not finding your identity flexing to other people or wanting to be seen as this important business person. You are tethering your identity to what truly matters for you and what you envision as success. And building your own heart-centered success will mean pivots. It will mean having to burn down how you thought your life was going to go. It will mean having to be in that trust fall where you are releasing what it is that is no longer meant for you while hoping that what is meant for you is waiting on the other side. It's scary. And it's especially scary if you have identified as an overachiever your whole life. If you have been somebody where I'm the successful one, I work at this fancy management consultant company, and look at me, and look at me, look how successful I am. It could be scary when you are putting yourself in the pathway to fail, right? It can be easier to just continue doing this status quo. Most people can still look at you and say, oh, they're so successful, they're achieving so much, they're doing so much. At what cost? Because like I said, with Pluto energy, the whispers turn to screams. And if you don't listen to the whispers around what it is that you're feeling called to release, it will turn to screams. Like within that relationship, I had many whispers, okay? But I hung in there. I took duct tape in the tower. We put stilts up there. We were like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's cozy with all the fire. It's keeping us warm, right? Just trying to convince ourselves it's not falling. This is meant for me. This is meant for me. You could be doing yourself a tremendous disservice around your most actualized new beginning, because sometimes our new starts does come our way in the form of an ending of some sort. So today's astrology is asking you to be fearless. Trust in your own transformation. Things can feel intense on Saturday. I'll say that. You could be coming face to face with the darker underbelly of humanity. You could be coming face to face with your own fears. Something could feel like it's crumbling around you or within you. Something can feel like it is falling away. And sometimes when it comes to Pluto energy, we don't immediately see why that had to crumble, right? We don't immediately see why we could not keep breathing in that smoky air in the tower, okay? We don't immediately see the beautiful new healthy tower that we will construct once we allow this one to burn down entirely. We don't see it. Right now we could be more so in that destruction energy than we are in the creation energy of Pluto, but it's important to remember Pluto doesn't just destroy for its own sake. It destroys in order to create. So trust the process. It's going to be a little scary. Move into Pluto energy. It'll make you confront your psyche, your fears. Like I said at the very beginning, we can cling to what was, but we're going to be dragged into that future that we are being guided towards. So speaking of the future, the sun does enter Aquarius on January 20th. So I want to take this opportunity to wish all of my water bearers the most wonderful birthday season. Thank you so much for your unique spirit, for your ability to both connect genuinely with groups of individuals while also being fearless enough to march the beat of your own drum. Thank you for being so incredibly creative, like so visionary. Sometimes I see what Aquarians create and I'm like, you must be from outer space. You must be an alien, because no human being is out here creating the visions and the ideas that you all do. I'm just continually so inspired by you all. I hope you guys all have a weird, fun birthday season. Let me know how you are celebrating. Also, completely aligned, we have Pluto entering Aquarius. I have a lot of thoughts on this collectively as well as individually. I deeply encourage you to check out the video that I've done on Pluto in Aquarius. I will link it below. And I want to let you know about the Pluto in Aquarius story. It's not that you're going to wake up and all of a sudden feel this entire explosion of the darker underbelly of technology and AI and this transformation that's showing up within our societal groups. Like, we are not all going to feel these Pluto and Aquarius themes hit right at once. This is a journey that we are on until 2044. So certainly you might get hints and previews and clues around where your individual transformation lies, as well as where societal transformation lies, but it's a slow journey. Pluto is a slow planet. This is a long overhaul. So make sure to check out my Pluto in Aquarius video to figure out what is ahead collectively as well as individually. Editing Haley here. Please excuse the brief interruption. And by the way, should we call this editor's note or Haley Comet's comments? Vote below. But anyways, I just wanted to pop in and share that Saturday, January 20th, is the day that Mercury officially clears its post-retrograde shadow. So we are in mercurial green light territory for new conversations, new ideas, new business dealings, things of that nature. Mercury is heading into new territory, and so are you, my love. The Taurus moon will trine Pluto and trine the Capricorn sun in the morning time. So certainly there can be some feelings of anxiety with Pluto hanging at that anaretic degree, and I would definitely recommend in the morning do something that soothes the senses, okay? It doesn't do us any good to freak out about the changes that are ahead. With the energy of Taurus moon, allow yourself to take your mind off of it. If you are feeling these Pluto energies, which sometimes can come through as around urgency or crisis, take a bath, make yourself a nice meal, allow yourself to soothe your mind by attending to your body. The moon will enter Gemini at 5:58 a.m. And since the sun enters Aquarius at 6, you'll feel this shift from all this earth around feeling very grounded and sensual, or at least trying to feel grounded and sensual, to air. And this can make you feel more inspired to want to connect, to collaborate with the energy of the Gemini moon. You can be feeling more inquisitive. You can be feeling more inclined to want to be social with your weekend. And with the Gemini moon squaring Saturn at 3:32, you might feel all emboldened in the morning time to want to go out and socialize. But by midday, with the Gemini moon squaring Saturn, you could be feeling a little awkward. Like you might bring something up about UFOs and you're like, oh, not the party. not here. Again, with Aquarius season, it's time to let your freak flag fly, okay? Bring up UFOs, bring up conspiracy theories, whatever, own your weird. But what I want to say with the Gemini moon square Saturn, you might be feeling a little odd. You might be like, okay, these might not be my people that I can have alien convos with, and that's okay. Or you could just be feeling this energy with Gemini moon square Saturn where you're overthinking and hurting your own feelings, okay? There could be an energy around wanting to socialize and connect, but feeling blocked from doing so. Maybe there's a lot of responsibilities on you. So on Sunday, January 21st, the only aspect all day is that the Gemini moon will sextile Chiron in Aries, where yes, our overthinking might be hurting our feelings a little bit, but it can also be the antidote if we have conversations or we write or we journal around what is coming up at this moment. This might be an incredibly aligned day to have very vulnerable, raw conversations with someone that you hold dear. This could be a great day for talk therapy or anything else that behooves you one-to-one. Or an alien could beam himself down and want to talk it out with you. Listen, Pluto just entered Aquarius. It's Aquarius season. Anything could happen, okay? So my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I choose who I am becoming rather than who it is that I have been. Listen, I know Pluto energy, transformation, change can be terrifying. But this week's astrology may put you at this crossroads where you can either do things as you've always done them, or you can choose a new path. And there are no guarantees in that new path. There are no guarantees when you do take a risk. There are no guarantees when you choose transformation because you don't know what's awaiting you at the other side. So you can stay within your comfort zone, you can do things as they've always been done, but really with so much of the cosmos moving into Aquarius, there's this pull around being open to the future, embracing who it is that you could be within the future. And when you choose that path, you often don't immediately turn into that person. You don't immediately manifest all of your desires. There will be hard days of you starting your own business. There will be challenging times that you will miss the comfort of the cocoon of your prior incarnation, but you have to choose who it is that you are evolving to be rather than who it is that you've been in order to unlock the full range of your magic. So if you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and drop a butterfly emoji to really cement this energy of transformation the Pluto energy is signaling. My loves, I'm wishing you a magical week. I'll be here, same place, same time next week to talk about next week's astrology and the week after and the week after and the week after. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.